All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Live with the Viewers broadcast. This is going to be a fun one. I'm in much more formal attire than I'm ever wearing on stream. Been at some graduations today. It's been really hot. Been a very hectic day. I'm really happy I was able to actually make it back in time to be able to do it the Live with the Viewers. Not fast enough to be able to, change out of it and stuff like that. But, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're here to have a good time. Obviously, myself and Joshua are here. But, Justin, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yes, how you doing? My name's Justin. Been following these guys for a long time. And, plenty of other people like Engraving, Purple Rain Podcast. I actually have a podcast myself called KTSC Sports Talk with Justin P. You can follow that on Spotify and on Anchor. Basically, on any platform you got where you can get a podcast, just type it in and pop right on up. You'll see a black and white shirt with a split screen. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm just trying to get where you guys at.
Yeah, everyone make sure to definitely go check that out. So if anybody's in the stream that's never been to a Live with the Viewers stream, how this works is we talk about whatever questions y'all ask about. If y'all aren't asking questions, we'll talk about, whatever in the title. So obviously the title of this would be Gurley, Clay, referencing Charles Clay, and then Gus Bus getting his extension. And also we made some new signings and things like that. So if nobody's asking questions, it doesn't have to be particularly Ravens related. Just any questions like that, put them in the chat. We'll talk about them. But overall, sorry, I'm my mind is in a million places right now. Also behind me, y'all can see I've been working on the background. I don't got the Cedric Benson behind me.
I got Ray Lewis. I like it.
And then I haven't put up the Lamar jersey yet. One day that'll be up in this big blank spot.
You got the shirt on, so I'm always got something on repping the squad.
Yeah, I haven't even finished unpacking yet. I got my other Lamar jerseys in my laundry and stuff like that.
So didn't you win a signed jersey?
That would be this one here. Hold on, I'll show it off for the people that are in the stream right now. If you don't want to see it, check this out. I can't hear anything, so if something happens, don't blame me. But here's the signed Lamar jersey. There's definitely a glare on it.
That's awesome.
It will be up. Ugh.
That's awesome.
Definitely by tomorrow's video. I'm probably going to put it up tonight. But, yeah, so overall, then the setup will be done. But we got a question in here from Paul. I think it's Masick. Also, it looks really weird when I have the background on once we start putting up the chat questions. But, yes, Lamar under center, good choice. In my opinion, no. Now, I get the concerns with Lamar going under center, and I think people overreact to the idea of him going under center and think that means we're going to run an under center offense. Even if we have Lamar going under center, I fully believe it'll be a shotgun offense, shotgun pistol offense, nothing new that we've seen. It'll just incorporate more concepts from I-form and single back and things like that. I think it's a really smart idea. Just expand the playbook, allow Greg Roman to get more creative and things like that, help the run game. I think it's really smart. Get him close to the line of scrimmage. Let Lamar beat Lamar, and do that. But Joshua, what do you think about it?
I definitely feel like putting him under center. I don't feel like it's going to hurt his growth. I feel like it's definitely going to it's going to give him that. How can I say it? That extra flavor, that more variety. He's going to be more of a variety pack, which he should be. Bad enough he does it already. Once he gets out of the pocket and put people on skates and stuff like that. If he goes under center, you won't know what to expect. Just like New England did with Cam Newton. They made it work.
Yeah.
Cam Newton is a shotgun quarterback, but at the same time, he's a great athlete that you can, move around and maneuver for him to get the job done. And I feel like the same thing can happen with Lamar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think, man?
I think it's a good idea. Like I said, because he's been playing in the pistol for the last 3 years. So going on the center now give you another wrinkle to the offense. Now that defensive coordinators can't, just key on that. And plus, like I said, he's played that in the center before in Louisville and in high school, so I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so many people think like Lamar's never gone under center. Like that's what he did at Louisville. That's how he won the Heisman. But overall, I just think that Greg Roman, when you're the only team that really uses the pistol, it becomes so much more obvious in terms of what you're going to do. Whereas, when you have shotgun and things like that, you have shotgun, you got under center and things like that. The amount of plays that are called in the NFL are significantly larger out of those formations than what you get out of the pistol. So It just opens up the playbook in that aspect and becomes less predictable because the Ravens have been predictable in the past. I think all Ravens fans at many points in time know exactly what's going to come, whether it's a 3rd and 1 and we're like, oh, wow, it's going to be a PA boot throw to Ricard or whatever, it looks like they're going to do. They typically end up doing it. But I think I-form, adding that in, single back and all that stuff, it'll really help strong and things like that. All of those things will definitely help out the Ravens offense, just become more unpredictable, help them honestly dominate in the run game more and things like that. That's actually a really good question though, Paul. Thank you for that. We got Tanya or Tonja. I think it's Tanya Bowman. What's going on, Tanya? We got Relentless 41, aka AJ Torres of the Calling Strikes podcast, and he asked, "What will come sooner, Ravens Super Bowl and Rakana shaving the beard?" I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the Super Bowl when it happens this year. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think trimming the beard counts as shaving. So honestly, it's probably going to be a Ravens Super Bowl. Before I go bare skinned on the chin again. That sounded weird. But then AJ then says 70% of Earth is covered by water. The rest is covered by the Ravens defense, which we all know. Absolute clamps in the secondary, whether it's Deshaun Elliott, Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey. Sorry, I see this in the chat. Says, guys, I'm literally your biggest fan. I would be honored to be recognized by the Kings of Ravens Media. Shut up, Mike. I know Mike. Mike's a friend of mine. Mike's from the Undrafted Network. He's a Seahawks fan and stuff like that. What's going on, Mike? He's mad because I destroy him in MLB and things like that. But overall, we got in here. Oh, actually, I'll get to this question from Adit real quickly. But we got Titans fan. We got Steven Crocio. Man, I'm so bad with last names and first names. But we got Steven Crocio. Welcome. We love having all the fans in there. But we got a super chat from Paul Masick saying thanks for the feedback, guys. No, thank you, man. Thank you for asking the question. We love talking about whatever y'all want to hear about. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for that. But we've got a question from Adit Mahmoud, I really don't know how to pronounce. Also, it's Tanja for Tanja Bowman. Man, we need people with I can't complain. My name's Makana, and people always mispronounce it, so I can't complain about other people's names being difficult because mine's difficult as well. But yes, if you could get a 3rd-tier pass rusher, would you get both Clay and Gurley, or would you choose one of the two and go after a Houston, Ingram, or Vernon? This is a great question because this is the exact dilemma that Eric DaCosta is in right now with what he wants to do with his money. Yeah. For me, Justin Houston all the way. He's been my guy. I think you got to go with him. However, for me, I'm not massive on Charles Clay. Honestly, I would just scrap Clay from the equation if we're being honest. But I would want Houston, and then I'd want Vernon. I'm not on the big Melvin Ingram train. If we were to sign him, I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't be jumping up and down loving it. But what do you guys think? Justin, you want to go first?
Charles Clay hasn't played since 2017 or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been like I get the depth. I think I like the tight ends that we have with Jacob Breland, even though he's coming back off torn ACL, but he was pretty good at Oregon. Uh, uh, Josh Oliver from Jacksonville, diamond in the rough.
The weapon.
Yeah,
It'll catch on one day.
Hey, Josh. I think if given a fair shot, he could be a good contributor. He had good speed, ran like sub 4.6 or something coming out of college.
Yep.
He's just been nicked up. We got him for a 7th-round pick, so it's basically a low risk, high reward type of move. Eli Wolf has been looking good. So Charles Clay, I get it. He knows Greg Roman's system, but I will have to pass on that. Todd Gurley, don't really need him because, like I said, with Gus, J.K. and Lamar, that's pretty much the run game right there. Now we're trying to elevate the passing game. How are we going to elevate the passing game? We're bringing in another running back that's going to want 10 plus carries. So I know for Todd Gurley for that, he's a hometown guy born here. But as far as the pass rushers, Justin Houston, that's no question. Almost
Okay.
80
Yeah,
sacks.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. What about you, Joshua?
Okay, so I guess we all in agreement. We can just cut out Charles Clay, so we're good on that. I mean, hell, if it was up to me, I don't mind giving that 6'7" quarterback switched over to tight end from University of Virginia a chance on the team. I know we like Josh Oliver. I'm definitely down for giving him a chance. I've seen his highlights in college, and he does actually look promising. I mean, he's a big body guy. He does run good routes, not the best on speed, but you can line him up there. He can get the ball with his hands. He can take people for that ride. So when you look at tight ends, you look at those type of guys. And you can plug in the system, and we know how to produce tight ends. So right there, I ain't really worried, man, when it comes to tight ends. Now running backs, I know that's my favorite position. We got the 1-2 combo with Gus the Bus and Ray Rice 2.0 and J.K. Dobbins. So I love that. Now, I think me and McConnell's pretty much on the same page when it comes to this. We actually want, the dark horse and Nate
McCrary, yes.
Or
absolutely.
If Le'Veon Bell is humble enough to come back to the AFC North, but play against the rival. His rival team. I don't mind it because think about it. If you put Lamar Jackson in the shotgun in that play action situations, you have a dynamic running back there with you where he's good for catching the ball and make something happen. And Le'Veon Bell is such a silky smooth player that you can play him outside as a wide receiver. What Jacksonville doing with Travis Etienne is what people should have been doing with Le'Veon Bell. He's a dynamic guy. So, he still has that motor. He still can make something happen in open field. I mean, that's like saying, hey, if Antonio Brown is available, would you go get him? Why? Hell yeah, I'm going to go get him. I can line him up and put him in the backfield, and he can put him in a motion, flank out, hit somebody. He can still hit somebody with a move, still catch the ball with his hands, still can get in open space, still give you that yards at the catch. He's not going to be that guy, but he's going to be that guy that helps us get to where we need to be. Now, when it comes to defensive ends, me and McConnell already previously talked about Justin Houston getting slighted when it comes to the money. I mean, he's definitely been producing still at a great pace, even though his numbers may have declined just a little bit, but not significant.
Yeah.
If it wasn't such a money issue, I definitely go on the Justin Houston page. But I think Olivier Vernon played for New England.
Olivier Vernon played for the Browns.
Okay.
Yeah, the Giants, then the Browns. Yeah.
Okay. So you can get all we need is a little bit of work, a little bit of production. We don't need a big name. I'm not really selling on Melvin Ingram for the simple fact that he's not a real healthy guy through the whole season. So either Justin Houston or Olivier Vernon. Did the one defensive end for the Vikings already get signed back? Hunter?
Danielle Hunter is on the Vikings. Everson Griffin was cut last year from the Vikings. Didn't sign with anybody last year. It may have been a personal decision. I'm not 100% sure if it was like him opting out.
Because he played with the Cowboys, then they traded him mid-season.
That's right.
Okay.
I wouldn't want him. He's not very good anymore. But
But he's a 4-3 guy. Same thing with Ingram. They 4-3 guys. So
that's true.
I don't know if they can stand up and cover in space. Wink wants the outside linebackers to cover the tight ends, cover running backs.
Man, that's the benefit of Justin Houston is that he has played outside linebacker in his career. I believe in Indianapolis he was playing 4-3 D end, but he has played
in Kansas City. Before they hired Spagnuolo, they ran a 3-4 defense. So
back when he and Tamba Ali were destroying every single tackle in the league. That was a nasty duo. If only they had a quarterback back then, the Chiefs would have been great. But I mean, overall, I think for me, Joshua, you brought up Le'Veon Bell. I'm absolutely in on Le'Veon Bell. We got a lot of comments right here. We got Joe Burrow, the GOAT, another fan. I'm assuming Bengals fan, saying maybe Todd Gurley will be good again. Now, good again, I think that's a possibility. Great again? No, not at all. There's no chance we could get Todd Gurley and he would become 2017 Todd Gurley. That won't happen. But we could get an okay running back that has it's the same thing of like what people get when they have been signing Adrian Peterson the last few years. Like, is he Adrian Peterson that won the MVP with 2,000 yards? No,
but he's solid.
But it's Adrian Peterson. Like the defense knows that's Adrian Peterson. If he's on the field, he's going to produce. You look at when the Rams were in the Super Bowl, I want to say they gave Todd Gurley like 10 rushes or like 8 rushes. They did not give him the football. He rushed the ball all year. They didn't give him into the playoffs. He was incredibly efficient when he got the ball. But like every time he got the ball, it was like the whole defense was like, stack the box. Gurley's in. We got to stop him. Very different from Dez Bryant, where like Dez Bryant came to us and was like, I haven't played in 3 years, and the Ravens don't throw jump balls ever to wide receivers. So, and that's what, Dez is good at. But I definitely like Gurley. I like Le'Veon Bell more. Jake Rook says Gurley is a purely sexy pick. I can see that statement. I don't disagree with that statement. However, at the same time, Gurley would be very cheap. His deal in Atlanta was, I believe it was only like $1.2 million guaranteed. I think it was upwards of $6 million based on incentives and things like that. That's a cheap deal.
He literally took that deal. It's a prove yourself deal at that point.
Yeah, and he didn't prove himself. He's got like a 52 rate. He did score, I think, 9 touchdowns based on recollection from yesterday or 2 days ago when I made the video. But overall, he wants to prove himself again. Like, also, he was playing in Atlanta.
He would do better like Miami. He would do better like at Miami, in my opinion.
Oh, he could do very well in Miami.
That would be a good landing spot for him.
Because he's still future back stat. He's still in future back status. Yes, he's trying to prove himself, but you're going to be the third running back. We're not about to actually move you up to the second running back over Gus Edwards because he's been producing. He's been producing since, it's been him and Kenneth Dixon. So it's really not going to work. If we go for another running back, you will need more of a pass catcher out the backfield. And sad to say, Justice Hill is not going to be that guy. He's now made a name for himself on special teams.
Yeah, which isn't a knock against Justice Hill. Like, he has proved himself as a legitimate NFL player. Like, he's earned a spot on this team. He is a good football player. It's just his position shouldn't be titled running back anymore. If there was a position for gunner or special teamer, that's what he would be. And he's very good at it. He's like one of the best gunners in the NFL. And I don't think people give him any credit for it. Like, saying we'd bring in Gurley or Bell doesn't mean we want to get rid of him. No, we need him on the roster. It's taking the extra spot of like maybe an extra quarterback or something like that. I see Tanja Bowman said Josh Oliver stood out in OTAs. Well, of course he would. Who would expect otherwise? I mean,
Miles Boykin stand out in OTAs too. You don't hear me saying nothing.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about Miles Boykin stand up. Only Josh Oliver. Only Josh Oliver.
That's cool.
I mean, if we went only off of OTAs, I think Quincy Adebayo would be like the greatest Ravens receiver of all time. But
Brashad Perriman.
Yeah, Brashad Perriman. I don't know. I feel like Seth Roberts balled out at once or twice in OTAs. Also, shout out to Paul Masick saying he shared the stream. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to share the stream, it's very appreciated. Liking the stream, all that type of stuff. Overall, oh, look at this. I've just noticed Joe Burrow the GOAT is T. Higgins GOAT. He is renamed. He is renamed. So
I don't like T. I don't like his energy.
he's switching up already before the season starts. He's already switching up. Next thing you know, we'll be halfway through the season. He's like, I'm a Browns fan and stuff like that. And he's like, I had to switch it up, man. I was no longer on the T. Higgins train. I see we got Engraven in the stream. Welcome Engraven says, "Oh my God, I'll let the hair out today." Yes, coming from multiple graduations, rushing home, very hot in here, all that stuff. We love Joe Burrow the GOAT. Joe Burrow the GOAT, one of the best. We
gotta get him on, man. We gotta get him on. He's just gonna have to come on and we talk.
That'll be interesting.
Absolutely. We got a bunch of questions up here. Let's see here. We'll go with this one from what's with these names? Coyet? I believe Coyet Carter would be the name. I should have picked an easier to pronounce name, but hopefully that's right. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Coyet asks, "What's up, guys? How do you like our secondary corners?" Oh, how do you like our secondary? Corners are solid, and I like Elliott, but I'm not the biggest fan. Chuck Clark fan, good leader, but I'm not trusting him in coverage. This is the dilemma I think that Wink Martindale is in, that Eric DeCosta is in, is that I think the Ravens, if they had to pick a player that they would rather put on the field as a coverage player, as just the safety, they would take Deshaun Elliott. I prefer Deshaun Elliott to be out on the field over Chuck Clark. However, we can't take Chuck Clark off the field because he does have the mic. And so for that reason, we need to either find a replacement for the microphone to reduce, if somebody wants to reduce Chuck Clark snaps. I think he's meh in coverage. He's a box safety, that type of player, stopping the run, calling out, different audibles and things like that. He's able to do it. He's good at that part of the job. There's a reason why the Ravens defense has been so good even after we lost a great mind like Eric Weddle. Chuck Clark is the reason for that. The issue is we have two safeties that fit more of the box safety mold. Now, I don't consider Deshaun Elliott to be a box safety. However, his play style is such that it is more comparable to a box safety than a traditional free safety, because he wants to be by the line of scrimmage. He wants to hit the running back. He wants to do all these things that Chuck Clark is supposed to be in the position to do. And that's what puts the Ravens defense in a bit of a bind, in my opinion. But that's why we went out and we drafted Brandon Stevens and potentially are transitioning him to free safety. That's why we picked up Ardarius Washington, undrafted free agent. The Ravens are trying to fix that mold. However, it's just when somebody else can take the mic from Chuck Clark. Typically, the mic is worn by a linebacker. We have some young linebackers. I think Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison are still too young this year. Mm-hmm. However, I would love if they were able to take over. It's just one of those things where we don't have a Fred Warner situation. If you guys don't know, Fred Warner went into the 49ers after being drafted late day 2 or early day 3 pick. Can't remember which one. He wore the mic in game 1 as a late round draft pick. He was the number 1 linebacker on the team. He was day 1. He was the leader. He came out and he proved to everybody he was the leader. And it's okay if you're not a leader and you play football. Like, that's just not your role. From what we've seen out of Patrick Queen, he hasn't stepped up to that challenge yet. Could he? Absolutely. I would love to see him do it. But right now, it's just, in my opinion, we have to keep Chuck Clark out there. Even though I don't think he's as good as Elliott, we have to keep him out there because he's the one that runs our entire defense. that is like the best defense in the NFL, arguably. But I don't know. That was a long ramble. I'm sorry. Yo, what do you guys think, Justin?
Like you said, we have one of the best, if not the best, cornerback duo in the league with Marlon Humphrey and Lamar. Hopefully, Tavon Young stays healthy. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith will be back for another year. Hopefully, he stays healthy. Knock on wood. Safety play. Sean Elliott's good, but he can be better. He has to find the football more. That's the only thing I see in his game. He comes down to hit everybody, but he has to get his hands on the football. I actually like Chuck Clark because he's smart and savvy.
Yes.
He's always in the right place at the right time. So, he has to catch the ball. Picks, interceptions hit him, and they just go all over the place. So he could have had about 4 interceptions. He's dropped them. But overall, like I said, now Darius Washington, I hope I said his name correct.
Yeah.
Drafted kid out of Oregon. Hopefully he gets a fair shake and he can come in like some nickel package and come play like in a slot or something like that. And then you still got Brandon Stevens and Sean Lee who could possibly play some safety as well. So overall, I like our secondary. It's probably one of the better units in the league. Let me go ahead, Joshua.
Oh man. All right, let me put my wink hat on. If I'm Wink Martindale, if I got 2 strong safeties in the back, what do I do? I've been saying this all year long, though. Let me start off first by saying I love Chuck Clark. I love what he brings. As far as that tenacity, that the intensity, and also that's a smart dude. So I respect the fact that we able to give him the mic. He deserved it. The next person that I would give the mic, honestly, though, I would give it to Tyus. I'll speak on that a little later. But if you take Chuck Clark out the game and you move Deshaun Elliott over, you have to, in order to keep some longevity in both Tavon Young and Jimmy Smith, I'll move them back to free safety. And I promise you, just because both of them guys are injury prone, they're not going to take a lot of contact. They both have an eye for the ball, whether it's a deflection or interception, and that's you got that safety net. How many times have we seen, where it's been a mishap between Marcus Peters and Chuck Clark, in the coverage? We all know that Marcus Peters is a gambling type of dude. If you put Jimmy Smith or Tavon Young over top of, to help MP3 out, 9 times out of 10, it will, in my opinion, it will be a breakup pass or interception. So, I definitely feel like, you go ahead and make that move. Now, when it comes to that nickel package, I'm using my young guys. I'm using Sean Wade. I'm definitely using Brandon Stevens. I mean, just the fact that he's an athlete, yes, we can train him up to be a free safety. I mean, heck, we have supposedly one of the best undrafted free agent steals in our Darius Washington. So maybe he can start seeing action maybe by game 3 or game 4. And, if he starts showing out and producing, maybe we can see him start. So, it's definitely a lot of pieces we have in that secondary where you can move around because, let's think about it. Anthony Averett, he has proven himself. He may can be that corner number 2. And we may can just have Marlon Humphrey on the best wide receiver and maybe slide Averett to the nickel and have MP3 play the second best. It's so many different ways to get creative with that secondary, and we got the guys to step up to do it. I mean, we being real, the secondary was really saving us the past 2 years, which I love it because we haven't been getting that pressure, from the front 7 like we used to. But I definitely feel like things are about to be a balanced breakfast or a balanced appetite on that defensive side of the ball with those young guns in Dalen Hayes, Odafe. You bringing back the veterans and Calais and Derek Wolf and Pinnell. But I definitely feel like, if you take Chuck Clark out the field, Tyus Bowers is the next man up to get that mic.
Unfortunately, Justin, I think Justin disconnected. Hopefully he's able to join back really soon. But that's a great question by Coyet. Hopefully I said that right. Overall, we got a lot of stuff going on in the chats. Thank you to everybody. A lot of compliments in the chat. Thank you so much, everybody. I see Paul saying hit the like button. Thank you so much, Paul. Paul's right, though. Hit the like button, get all that stuff going.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. A lot of questions in the chat, but here's one. This is from Malte Naumann. I think that's right. It says, hello from Germany. Well, welcome to the stream. Always cool to have international viewers or listeners in the stream. Asks, where do you think the Steelers end up at the end of the season? I think the Browns will be hot and the Bengals will be much better this season. Now, I'm sorry to T. Higgins, the GOAT in the chat. The Bengals, I don't think are going to be much better this season. I'm very sorry. Not seeing it. I do like Joe Burrow. I do like their young players. I love Jamar Chase, absolute stud in the draft. Maybe the best player to come out of the draft, and that's even with Trevor Lawrence being in this draft. I really believe in Jamar Chase, but I'm not a big believer on that. In terms of the Steelers, I think the Steelers are going to surprise a lot of people this season. I think their defense is going to be very good. Better than what it was at the end of last year because they're getting back Devin Bush, who is the second best young linebacker in the NFL. I would put him behind Devin White. But both the Devins from the same draft, both absolute studs, fly to the football, things like that. Losing him was when they started to just completely lose their defense. And then obviously they lost Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree isn't coming back. Bud Dupree is in Tennessee now. But overall, you look at what they have, and they got a really good core. Their wide receivers are still top notch. Yes, Big Ben is older, but Big Ben isn't that bad. He can't throw the deep ball nearly as well, but what does he do? He has now become a completely different quarterback. He's not dependent on the deep ball because the old Big Ben was a gunslinger that could throw the deep ball with anybody else in the NFL. Now he's Alex Smith 2.0. He comes out and he check down every play. Get the ball out in 2 seconds or less. Like he's running the old Houston offense. Chuck a three in less than 7 seconds or less offense. That's what he runs. Go as quickly as possible, and they got the wide receivers to do it. And I love the Najee pick. I think the Steelers are probably going to finish second in the division. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. Now, I don't think they do a lot in the playoffs. I don't see them as a threat to win a lot of playoff games. I see the Browns as more of a threat in that aspect. But I think probably once again 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs. I think that's something that has happened plenty of times before. I think it's going to happen again. That'd be my statement on them. But overall, it's a good team. Y'all don't want to sleep on the Steelers. We want to write them off right now. I don't think we're ready just yet. Wait for Ben to retire, and then we can pop the champagne, all that stuff. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Any thoughts on the Steelers this year?
9-8, honestly. 9-8. You lose Bud Dupree, Big Ben. It's the one basically his last leg and arm. I love the Najee Harris pick. That's they needed a ground attack because they threw the ball 70 times a game. Then their quick screen game was their run game, and it's just so hard to go on. To repeat this success they had starting off 11-0. They fought with a little down stretch, but losing Bud Dupree is now T.J. Watt's going to see more double teams. Get a little older. Joe Hayden's getting older. Mike Hilton. I got them at 9-8 and 7.
I definitely would say that I could definitely see the Steelers going second place in the AFC North, maybe being a wild card team. Actually, it really I say this. It depends on what Big Ben comes to play throughout that for 17 games. Also, how much you work Najee Harris, and if Minka, Devin, and TJ Watt are all healthy. Because, when Minka got on the scene at Pittsburgh, it was like a rejuvenation, for that defense. And that tandem, unfortunately, it reminds me of Troy and maybe Lamar Woodley, James Harrison, those type of guys. They bring that, that nastiness back to the Steelers football. So, you got to respect it. You definitely got to love it. I'm not even going to discredit the Steelers because they had some people may say, their schedule last year was so like a cakewalk.
Mickey Mouse schedule.
Yeah. So I'm not going to discredit that. You win games. If you put up against, if you're scheduled against an opponent that's not the best, you're supposed to do your best and win out. So that's what they did.
Okay, Joshua. The only reason you're saying this is because you're a Lakers fan and you're trying to defend your own Lakers championships. You can't be hypocritical. That's the only reason why you're saying that. Otherwise, if the Lakers hadn't won the NBA championship, then I don't think you're saying that about the Steelers.
Not at all. But man, listen. The team, I'm not even gonna say sleeper. They've been on the radar. We just got to see if they're going to be. We just got to see if they keep on going further, and that's the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they've been building. They've been showing they can win. They've been having the talent, but they always had these missing pieces. Granted, I loved it when Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward wasn't there. But if them two are there through the whole season, who knows how it can be? So. Yep. I mean, definitely look for us. Look for, of course, us, them, and the Steelers to beat in the playoffs. So, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season actually this year.
Yeah, I see not a question, but a statement from Paul. Says great FB analysis. I'm assuming football analysis. We didn't talk much about Patrick Ricard. Says ain't afraid to call it. Absolutely true. Definitely not afraid to call it. I get a lot of feedback on videos and things that people don't like my Gus Edwards video, which most people did not like whatsoever. It's all good. Don't worry. Not everybody has to agree on everything. But we got a question in here from Christopher Shook. I think it's Shook. Says, what if the Bears start 1-5? Baltimore then trades for Khalil Mack. Have him in Baltimore for the next 5 years and the best defense he's ever played on. Now, this would be amazing. If there was somehow we would ever be able to afford Khalil Mack.
Who are we giving to Justin Fields from our team?
We would have to I would love for Khalil Mack, one of the best pass rushers of the generation. He didn't deserve Defensive Rookie of the Year, just going to say, CJ Mosley. But overall, he's going to be – I don't know exactly how much money he's making. I'm assuming it's a lot of money. I can look it up right now. But let's see here. Oh, he signed a 6-year, $141 million deal. 2021 is a $14 million. 2021, $14 million cap hit. 2022, $30 million cap hit.
No, sir.
$30 million, then $28.5 million, then 26 in 2024. That's Lamar's money. We can't, I would love Khalil Mack, but
where in the world?
$30 million for an edge rusher? I don't care if it's Lawrence Taylor. I wouldn't pay him. I don't care. I don't care if it's I firmly believe that the clear best player in the NFL is Aaron Donald. I'm a big believer in that. There's no way I would pay him $40 million or $30 million a year.
So Khalil don't come at the Aaron Donald? He's not.
Khalil's like the 5th best defensive player in the NFL off the top of my head.
I'll take it.
You would pay him $30 million?
After I see him push a grown man down with one arm. Yes.
A grown rookie. I
don't care. That man had weight on him. Khalil Mack is still talented as hell, and we can always find interior linemen, but when it comes to a defensive end, we ain't had nobody. We ain't had nobody since Terrell. So
yeah. Also, I see a comment in here. Not even going to try to pronounce the name.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no way. I don't even know what any of those character sounds would be. But thank you for the comments. Says, let's wish lots and lots of health to Christian Eriksen, a player for the Danish national team. Absolutely. If y'all didn't know, Christian Eriksen was playing in I believe it's the Euros going on, and he collapsed mid-game. I also want to shout out, I don't know the name of him, but the captain of the Danish team helped to, I believe, keep him from choking and gave him CPR and helped the team create a huddle around Christian while he was on the field to help, so it doesn't, his wife was there and it like looked really bad. So it's kind of protecting everybody from like seeing it. So shout out to the captain and things like that. But you always hate to see things like that. It absolutely sucks in sports. It's pretty rare that it happens, but it does happen. I believe a college basketball player, I think that at University of Florida or Florida State, it happened to.
Yeah, University of Florida.
Yeah, and it happened to this year. It's rare. Worst part of sports is just the complete unexplained injury. Just when those types of things happen, like Shazier, obviously Christian Eriksen, it's the worst. Obviously we wish Christian Eriksen the best. Hopefully he's okay. I haven't heard much news on it. I've been at graduations all day today. I wasn't watching the game, but it's not something that you ever want to see, especially when you're watching, a sports game. So that's very unfortunate. I do see we got Don C in the chat. Don C has been in a lot of the streams before. What's going on? Joey Boss Sports Dude says, what's up, TTB? I see AJ, aka Relentless 41, says he got quarterback money. Yeah, he got quarterback money. Brandon says Khalil Mack would have to restructure the contract. Yeah, that is me. I had no idea that was in the contract. I'm assuming I believe there's a potential out in 2022, and it would create $24 million of dead cap. It's just that's wow. I had no idea Khalil Mack's contract was like that. We got Paul commenting. Shout out to Paul. Paul is the biggest
Paul's social media.
promoter.
He's a social media manager, man. I love it, man. He got to be a social media
manager. Like the stream. Let's try and get it. I don't know if we're at 11. Let's try and get it to 20 likes. Overall, we got T Higgins Showbro. The guy says, "I'm gonna just go before y'all insult my team again." I'm sorry. If you were a fan of a better team, I think you'd be much happier in the streams. we got Engraven. We got Engraven said hashtag Paul for mod. We may have to make Paul a mod. I don't really know how to do it, but that may have to be something that happens because Paul's the GOAT.
Definitely, man. Come on now.
And then we got a question. This is from AJ, and I'm assuming he's asking about offensive coordinator. But he says, "Who's the Ravens?" I'm assuming offensive coordinator if Greg Roman gets canned. I believe that it would be T. Martin would be my pick for it. Okay, so actually, Engraven's giving me. Oh, here we go. Can I do it from StreamYard, or do I have to do it from YouTube? I'll go into YouTube. Hold on. We'll do this here. Y'all talk about who you think will be the Joshua. Who do you think would be the offensive coordinator if Roman gets canned?
Either be T. Martin or either Keith Williams, depending on probably Keith Williams because he's already the passing game coordinator. So if you're already the passing game coordinator, we might as well go and make you the offensive coordinator.
Moving on up.
So that's just my take on it. So it'll be Keith Williams first. He get the first crack at it.
Now,
okay.
Oh, okay. AJ said my bad. All right. Well, we figured because the way he made it seem like they was going to do a package deal with Roman and Harbaugh. Because I was about to say if they did a package deal and got rid of Roman and Harbaugh together, I'm going at Mr. Bohemian. I'm sorry that he deserves to be a head coach in the NFL. Or if you want to talk about head coaches, I'll move Wink Martindale up to that head coach position because he's a guy. I'm gonna say this. I don't know if they interviewed Rex Ryan here in Baltimore, but he could have had a better head coaching job here. versus going elsewhere.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it didn't work out for him. You know, he already had his roots here. You know, he could have just kept on, you know, building off of what he was doing, and we could have been moving forward. I definitely feel like, you know, he could have brought us maybe 1 or 2 Super Bowls. And I also feel like Wink as a head coach, he can bring a team 1 or 2 Super Bowls as well. So I definitely would, you know, Bahimi, he'll bring another wrinkle to the offense. And, you know, with those guys like, you know, T. Martin, Keith Williams, them guys sitting at the table and putting things together, and we finally want that, you know, that creative flow, creative juices that we've been asking for. He gonna get it in a special way, and I feel like we're gonna get spoiled way more than we already got spoiled. And Lamar is gonna really, you know, not saying he doesn't want to be here in Baltimore, but when he really says it, you'll see that, you know, that big grin, that big smile on his face, because he knows what he has here, you know, in his coaches.
Yeah, I think also I want to announce congratulations to Paul, first ever mod on the channel. So shout out to Paul. But for me, I think what it would be is I've talked about this a little bit before. Maybe I've brought it up in past streams, but for me, it's gotta be T. Martin, in my opinion, just because, well, he does have the experience as being USC's offensive coordinator before he went to Tennessee and was I believe he was the wide receivers coach there. But overall, it's one of those situations where you don't want to change everything, because if we move up Keith Williams, because I think you want to keep somebody from the organization, especially when you're during the season. You don't want to outsource your offensive coordinator whatever week if Greg Roman were to get fired, and it was like, you know, week 8. You don't want to just be like, all right, new guy come in that's never been in our organization, because they won't really have an idea. It may just throw everything off. Whereas if you move somebody up, it makes sense. However, if we move up Keith Williams, who are we going to put as our passing game coordinator? Are we going to then shift T. Martin to passing game coordinator? Because that's then changing 2 jobs rather than just changing 1. And it's 2 important jobs. Because if we move up T. Martin, yes, wide receivers coach is important, but it's a heck of a lot easier to replace a wide receivers coach than it is to replace a pass game coordinator. Because the coordinator's got to come in and do everything. With the wide receivers coach, technically you could promote somebody, but you could hire somebody to come in and be like, all right, coach up the wide receivers, but we already have the full game plan. We got what the passing game is going to be. And it would be easier to sub that in and out. In my opinion, it would make it easier rather than shifting multiple positions and getting T used to the pass game and getting Keith used to the OC job. But I also see we got the Purple Rain podcast in the stream. Shout out to the Purple Rain podcast.
Hey, man.
They got on. They had PQ on the stream. I'm so mad that I was traveling that day because I missed it. But great stream. Absolutely go check it out if y'all aren't subscribed to the Purple Rain podcast. Simply and Sutton, they do a great show. Mondays and Thursdays, I believe it is. But yeah, we got everybody in the chat.
But you know, Brandon said the same thing that we've actually, you know, hit, you know, as far as OC. Why not bring in Bobby Petrino? Because he does know Lamar Jackson. You know, I mean, we are talking. In the perfect world, my quarterback coach would probably be Jesse Palmer. Offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino. Head coach, either Wink or Bahimi. I know I'm probably saying it wrong, but
Bieniemy.
Okay. Yeah. And defensive coordinator, I'll either Wink or who else? I don't know. I don't know who else to call up as far as defensive coordinator. No, I don't. To actually coach us and actually be creative. I would have to call one of the Ryan brothers back up or something. I'm sorry.
We already got Rob. We got Rob Ryan as the linebackers coach. We got a question from Adi Mahmoud, and he asks, this is the great one. Oh, I love this because I get to talk about some football stuff that I don't get to talk about normally. And it asks thoughts on Chandler Jones as a midseason trade option. He's on the last year of his contract, and his brother worked out in Baltimore. Y'all, I highly doubt y'all know this about me unless you've listened to my other show, the Worst Take Podcast, which is being rebranded. Eventually, it is going to be the FTN podcast, Football Then and Now, talking about kind of football theory, historical football players, and comparing modern football to historical stuff and all that type of stuff. Not trying to plug; it's not started or anything like that yet, but eventually that will happen. And this is the type of stuff that I get to talk about. But Chandler Jones is an absolutely underrated player in the NFL. He is maybe the most underrated player in the NFL. I firmly believe he's had a better career statistically than Von Miller from when they were drafted. Chandler Jones has come out, and obviously he's coming off injury last year, missing the season, which really hurt the Arizona Cardinals last year. But he is an absolute monster as an edge rusher. He led the league in sacks 2 or 3 years ago. Can't remember which year. But he was one of those guys that he was a New England guy. You know, and we all know how Bill Belichick utilizes New England guys. He's all right, doing your job type of guy. And if you don't do your job, you know, and you want to get paid because you know that you're really good, he's going to let you walk. So he dominated. He won at least one Super Bowl that I can name in New England, goes to Arizona, gets his money, dominates in Arizona, leads the league in sacks, absolutely carries an atrocious defense. It was him and Patrick Peterson for the last 4 years trying to carry that defense. And overall, I think he'd be an amazing guy in Baltimore to have. However, I believe the contract is going to be very expensive. I'm looking it up right now. Let's see. Chandler Jones, not the wide receiver from the Buccaneers, the linebacker from the Cardinals. Did not know there was a wide receiver. Yeah, so he has a $20 million cap hit. Which makes it very difficult. That's very unfortunate. We don't have any players that we could trade that have big cap hits. Our cap hits come from Marlon. They come from Marcus Peters. They come from Ronnie Stanley. That's our cap hit. And Calais, I guess, is about 11 or $13 million. Like, we don't have the players that we would need to shift over and get somebody. So for me, I would love it. I just don't think it can happen. We just don't have the cap to do it, unfortunately. But another guy, him, just like Khalil Mack, absolutely, I'd love him in here. But we just can't pay him, and that's the age-old problem of money. We can't pay. I want a lot of stuff. Can't pay for it though. So I can't get it. But what do you guys think about, kind of Chandler Jones and stuff like that?
Like I said, Khalil Mack, this was Madden where we could turn off the salary cap. Yeah, I'll be all for it because we can just have both of them and just have just a monster squad. But we live in a reality. We can't afford, like you said. We would have to give up 2 important players just to land him. It's not worth it. Not worth it. And like I said, we'd love to have him. He's getting older. He's been injury riddled, kind of, sort of. So it's a good wishful thinking move, but we don't have no sense to make it happen. So yeah.
Man, the more and more you hear about these contracts, it's just, hey, let's go get the next best thing in the draft. Let's just go ahead and put our energy on our young guys, man, and pray and hope for the best. and the funny thing about it, it's like when you say it, it's not like we drafted some unknown, some guys that have no type of talent at all. We actually drafted some guys, you feel me, that have actual potential that actually can get on the field and produce. Well, let's not forget, even though Tyus Bowers is a hybrid. If y'all haven't realized, that's my guy. He can get out there and still make things happen. And I feel like, he got a deserving, he worked a hard-earned contract extension. And I feel like, even with this contract extension, you're not going to hear, Tyus Bowers out for the season. No, you're going to hear his numbers going up because that's what he's been doing. He's been progressing. Granted, I would rather have kept Zadarius Smith along with Tyus Bowers, but we can't always have it the way we want it.
Man, you're bringing up Zadarius Smith today. I was in the Undrafted Sports group chat earlier today, and I see our guy Maddox, Steelers fan, and he sends something. And he's like, the more I think about it, the more I miss, I wish James Harden hadn't been let go from OKC. And I was like, man, why is everybody bringing up the guys my team's lost? Yeah, we lost a lot of guys. Zadarius Smith is the biggest one. Also, Justin is back. Welcome back, Justin.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. Don C says 23 likes, chat. Smash that like for TTV for Trust the Bank. Yes, let's smash the like button. Let's get to 30 likes. I think the record we've ever had while streaming is like 50. If we got to there, that'd be amazing. Don't think we're going to get there. Not going to set our sights too high for this. But we got a good thing from Baltimore Get Up saying, I love the Joker and Hooker is the perfect match with him. I agree. The only issue is which one of them is going to stay healthy. Both of them are highly injury prone. Malik Hooker, though, played in less than 40 games in his career. I want to say he played in 37 games, or maybe it was 36. He has 7 career interceptions. He is a ball hawk. He is one of the best ball hawks in the league. He makes spectacular interceptions. If y'all remember, he had an end zone interception that was one-handed cutting across the field. He makes plays. He's a playmaker in the secondary. He is a free safety. He's still on the free agent market. I believe he was talking with NFL Rumors, but like on Twitter overall, or NFL Rums or whatever that account is on Twitter. By the way, follow us on Twitter at @TTB_Ravens. Quick plug. Absolutely shameless plug. But overall, I think he would be a great guy to bring in. Malik Hooker is very, very good. It's just whether or not he can stay healthy. And for me, I think with how good the Ravens roster is currently, taking those types of risks is okay. We don't have a massive hole at safety that we need to be filled no matter what. We don't have a massive hole at any position. So taking a guy that has tremendous upside, that if he plays will be a dominant player, take the chance. I mean, he won't cost a ton of money. I would expect him to cost in probably the $5 million range on a one-year deal. It would most likely be a prove-it deal. He didn't get the 5th-year option in Indianapolis. He's only played 4 years, which is why I think he'd be cheap because he's been injured. But I think he'd definitely be worth it. I think I'd probably still rather have Justin Houston, but right after that, it would be Malik Hooker. I've been on the Malik Hooker train for a very long time. I made Malik Hooker to the Ravens was one of my first videos I ever put out on the channel. I think it was within the first 2 weeks of the channel ever being out. So I'm big on the Hooker to Baltimore thing. But I don't know. What do you think about it, Justin?
Malik Hooker, first you gotta see if he's healthy, because like I said, he's been injury riddled as well. Great safety, ball hawk, but you have to see his durability, and his price too. So those be the 2 things. But other than that, I wouldn't mind it. But it's basically right player, right price.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, I'll take the gamble, just like we took the gamble on Will Hill a couple years back. You see what happened, Will, and they wrote Will Hill off. I mean, but when he came, here to Baltimore, he did his thing. So I feel like, because you got to think about it, we're doing the same thing with Sammy Watkins, another injury prone guy, hoping that we can get him for a full season. But we're going to be managing, his productivity, his workload, just like I feel like we would do the same thing with Malik Hooker as well. And with him being the actual dynamic player, especially at the free safety position, you're not going to have to worry about him taking the big hits or, delivering the big blows. I mean, Deshaun Elliott is going to be there to cover up and rack him up. I mean, he's a cleanup man for a reason. He's the Joker for a reason. So I definitely feel like, if we was to take that gamble on Malik Hooker, I feel like, we'll come out on top.
Yeah, and there was a great question in the chat, and it was from Don C. And Don C says, if we get Hooker and play Elliott at strong safety, who has the green dot? I want Hooker, just wondering how it would play out. Now, the Baltimore Ravens run nickel packages at, I believe, a little bit over 40% of the time. If you don't know, nickel packages where you have an increased amount, you have 5 defensive backs rather than 4, or 6 rather than 5. I'm sorry, I'm spacing on the numbers. But you take out a linebacker, you add in either a corner or a safety. I believe that basically we would have a hybrid number 2 safety next to Chuck Clark at all times, and we could switch it out between Hooker and Deshaun Elliott. We get into third and 3, 3rd and 2. You put in Deshaun Elliott. He's going to come out there and he's going to thump the running back, whether it's Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Najee Harris, or I don't know, a bad running back. I don't know. I can't think of a bad running back that we play this year. I don't know. No offense to Cam Akers, but Cam Akers from the Rams, like things like that. Boom. But then you come into 3rd and 10, you got Malik Hooker out there. And what we could do is when we're in nickel packages, we could have Chuck Clark slide in and he could be covering the tight end or something like that. We could have Deshaun Elliott playing at the strong safety spot, and then we could have Hooker playing in the free. And if you're in nickel about 40% of the time, well, that's about, you could probably be playing, you could see Malik Hooker out on, I don't know, but right around 40% of the snaps, maybe even closer to 50%. It wouldn't be something where he'd be able to play every snap, but that could help him in terms of his health. It's something that he would have to be able to agree upon. But overall, if he ends up balling out, like, you could start to replace Deshaun Elliott as well, because remember, this is the last year of Deshaun Elliott's deal. I don't want to replace Deshaun Elliott. However, maybe Malik Hooker could take the mic. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't think he ever wore it in Indianapolis. My assumption is that Darius Leonard wears the mic in Indianapolis. I'm not 100% certain on that. I don't know who wears it. But yeah, I think that we would just use him in nickel and sub packages and in passing situations. I don't think it would be something where we play him at all times. Now the issue is, when do we play Brandon Stevens? That becomes the issue, and I think that becomes the question of, that's why I'm more on board with the Justin Houston, because I don't like taking up rookie snaps. And I see Adam asks, we don't need a safety, so why do you keep bringing up Hooker? We don't really need any position. Like, there isn't a position where you look at the Ravens and they're like, that's a massive hole. Could we use an edge rusher? Yeah. Could we use a coverage safety? Yeah, I think so. Could we use we could use a tight end. We could use a running back. There's a lot of positions we could use, but we don't need anything. We don't need like a quarterback. There's things that we don't need, but there's not anything that's just like, oh, wow, we need that or we're going to fail. We got everything.
Well, I'll ask Adam this. How many times have you seen us get beat for the deep ball, in the coverage? How many times have you seen the coverage get tired and worn out and couldn't make a turnover? So, when you say, we don't need a safety, why do you bring up a hooker? Look at the things that has transpired. Not saying that we don't have a great defense, but usually when somebody gets worn down, or when we play against Kansas City, Tampa Bay, one of them air raid teams, and hey, they throw it over deep, it's a miscommunication, then it's going to be Marcus Peters or Anthony Avery, maybe Marlon, and the safety, maybe having a little, discussion amongst each other. Of course, it's not going to get that bad where, it'll be like, hands being thrown. But when you see certain things, it's like, why not add something else to take us over the top? So if a ball hawking free safety can be added to our great defense, why not?
Yeah. And we are a team that doesn't get a lot of interceptions. Marlon Humphrey's a great cornerback. He does not get interceptions. He forces the football out. We force a lot of fumbles. I think we clearly lead the league in forced fumbles, I believe. We don't get a lot of picks. Chuck Clark doesn't get a lot of picks. Marcus Peters is the only player in our defense that can like consistently be like, all right, you throw it up towards him, like, oh wow, that could get picked. Because Marlon plays cornerback in the same way that like Jalen Ramsey plays. He does not look back for the football. He focuses on the wide receiver and he sees where the hands go up for the wide receiver. That's when he sticks his arm in. His arm is between the football and the receiver. He's able to pull it out, or he's able to pull on the arm. He's able to punch the football, all those types of things. That's how he plays corner. He's physical. It's handsy. It's a bit risky for flags. But at the same time, if you look back and you're like not in the correct position, you get absolutely toasted because when you look back, it slows you down. That's why in track, you're always taught never look back. I always look back. It definitely slowed me down. I definitely lost placements off of me looking back running track because I'm trying to win. I'm trying to see where my opponents are at. But that's the type of thing that we would need. Like, we force fumbles, yes. But, man, when we play the Chiefs, how many opportunities are there to force fumbles? There's not that many. Like, Patrick Mahomes is throwing it all the time. When we play the Bills, they're not running. The Bills may have run one running play in the first half in the playoffs. They were throwing it every time. Their defense was playing well. We were playing stingy defense. It honestly reminded me of when we had Dean Pease, and it was just like, we don't force a lot of turnovers. We just hold them to a few yards and get the punts. And that's good. That's good defense. Great stuff. That's not a negative. But getting interceptions is a momentum-shifting thing. And when you're playing against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, especially if you're playing in Arrowhead or you're playing in Buffalo, or heck, you're even playing in Cleveland or Pittsburgh, when you're playing in Tennessee and Marcus Peters goes out, gets an interception off Ryan Tannehill, stomps on the logo, the crowd gets a little bit quieter. If y'all didn't know.
Absolutely.
So getting interceptions is very beneficial. The fumbles are chaotic. You don't recover every fumble you force. You get every pick that you make unless there's a flag. So that's why I think getting a ball hawk and things like that is very beneficial. And then I see something from Baltimore Get Up saying, I think we have everything but coverage on the deep end. Gives us one more concept to have to figure out. And yeah, our coverage on the deep end, I mean, we play so much press man coverage, and especially with a guy like Marcus Peters who does bite a lot, which is why he gets so many picks. It's very difficult for him to cover, especially double moves and things like that. So having the extra safety, that's why Joshua brought it up earlier. Him and Chuck Clark have, verbally exchanged words.
Every game, literally every game,
because Marcus Peters is like, I'm trying to get a pick. You can't get a pick every time, and sometimes Marcus Peters goes up to get a pick, and Deebo Samuel goes up the other way, and Marcus Peters is like, man, I jumped the wrong way or whatever. That was from the 49ers game. Luckily, we still won that game. That was a rough play though for Marcus Peters. It looked really bad. But overall,
I'm sitting there like,
I know. He jumped up and just like the ball's coming over his right shoulder, and he's like, left shoulder, wrong way.
I'm like, wow, Jimmy just throws it up and just catches. I'm like, wow.
Very, very unfortunate. But that's the price you're willing to pay for Marcus Peters, who can bait Russell Wilson into throwing pick sixes, the guy that can seal the game against the Tennessee Titans. That's why we love Marcus Peters. Baltimore Get Up also says, but I bet Ardarius Washington could be good if he gets a shot. I think he could be good, definitely. Whether or not, he has played with great safeties before in his career. He played at TCU with Trayvon Moehrig. However, I think that he is a very good secondary player. At his size, it is more difficult to get back to the ball, and he did run a slow 40. However, I believe there was something about him possibly being injured. He doesn't play to his 40 time. He plays a lot faster. He's a good football player. I think if he does get a chance, he could eventually become a Bob Sanders type of player. I almost said Bob Marley. That would have been bad. Bob Sanders type of player. I was like Bob, and I was like, what is his last name again? Sanders. The shortest player to ever win Defensive Player of the Year at 5'7". I believe Bob Sanders was, but yeah, Washington could be good. It's just whether or not the Ravens give an undrafted rookie that type of I mean, that's the safety net. That is the safety net. Giving that to a rookie is a risk. Now, I think it could absolutely be worth it, but are the Ravens willing to take that risk? I don't know. I would love to see him play, though. Absolutely, I would love to see our Darius Washington get significant playing time or snap. I said playing time. I think NBA. And Baltimore Get says, hope he's healthier than Sanders. Yes. Healthy Bob Sanders is what I should have said.
See, that's the thing. I feel like we're gonna have 2 undrafted guys make it onto the team with Darius and McCary as our third running back. I love it. Guys, understand we're not trying to take away from these young men's snaps. We actually want them to succeed and be a Raven forever. I definitely feel like they saw something in Brandon Stevens. That's why they brought him here. And I see with making the move to get our Darius Washington. They see something in him. That's why they went and picked him up as a UDFA. But the thing is, you guys, you have to understand, we are in win mode right now. So, if a Pro Bowl caliber player is available and at the right price, the Ravens' way is to go get that man and plug them into our system so they can produce and help us get to where we want to be. Because right now, I'll still say it, for 80 men to come out to voluntary OTAs, it shows a level of discipline and determination of this year's team going into this season coming up. And I feel like, I could be wrong. Maybe just me being a Ravens fan. This can be the year we actually get over that hump, whether it's beating the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. I feel like we can do it and make that notion to get to the Super Bowl. So I love our rookies. I love the guys. I love those guys. I definitely know they're going to come in and produce. But right price, right guy. If they understand the Ravens way, bring them here. Let's go out here and do what y'all get paid to do. Play a child sport, get paid for it, and win championships. Because I don't know about y'all. I'm ready for Lamar Jackson to get his Super Bowl ring and also win Super Bowl MVP. I'm ready for that. I'm ready to see that for that young man.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the goal of the season. Is for Lamar to finally get that Super Bowl MVP. But Justin, do you have anything to add to that on our Darius Washington, Malik Hooker, any safety, free safety?
Yeah, real quick. Drake, he could possibly be a steal, but like I said, his frame would probably be a concern, only being 5'8". But my player call for him is probably, hopefully, this doesn't sound too off the wall. It's Tyrann Mathieu. That's my player call for him.
Yeah.
5'8", 5'9". Play the slide, play deep hash, comes up tackle. Like I said, if somehow, some way he does get a shot, I think he'll make the most of it. But he got a long way to climb up. You got Sean Elliott, Chuck Clark. You have Jordan Richards, Geno Stone. Now you have Brandon Stevens and Sean Wade as well. So it would have to take a few injuries for him to even get a look. But I think if given a chance, I think he'll be a pretty productive player.
Yeah, I think Tyrann Mathieu was the guy that I thought of when I watched him. I didn't really think Budda Baker. I definitely thought Tyrann Mathieu, and that's the type of thing that you want to get. Also, we got somebody from – I can't find my mouse on my screen. Found it. We got from J. Rum says, Sanders is my cousin-in-law. He was small, but he could hit. His size was the reason for injuries, but he got a ring. Absolutely. Won that ring with, dare I say, the most talented quarterback of all time. Or I think he's the best quarterback of all time, Peyton Manning. Not the greatest.
Yeah.
Not the greatest, but the best.
Yeah.
I got the jersey on the wall right above his brother, the best playoff quarterback of all time, Elijah. But
so let me ask you this: since the nephew is out there doing the thing, how hard do you?
Sorry, Lamar.
How hard do you think it's going to be for him to, to fill those cleats?
Real hard. Man.
I mean, I mean, okay. See, if you look at it, and Eli Manning, nowhere near the level of quarterback as Peyton was.
Nah, like a half, maybe half.
But he was still seen as great because he won 2 Super Bowls. Like that's where his greatness comes from. That's where he lived up to Arch Manning or Archie. It's Archie, but the nephew's name is Arch. Or maybe it's just shortened to Arch. Maybe it is Archie and it's just shortened. I'm not 100% positive on that. But overall, living up to the Manning name, that may be the hardest name to live up to in sports.
Yeah.
Unless Serena Williams has a daughter that decides to play tennis, or
she's Michael Jordan's son. Maybe some hard to live up to, but Manning definitely is one.
Well, yeah, Jordan's tough, but none of his kids. We already saw his kids fail, so I'm sorry, Marcus.
You got one doing acting. He's doing all right.
Oh, I got you. I caught on there. Michael B. Yeah, my guy.
you know, Mr. Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan's amazing. Honestly, better than Michael Jordan? No. More successful movie career? Yes. Sorry, Space Jam. Not as good as most of the movies that Michael B. Jordan's been in. Creed, Black Panther, that type of stuff.
Ramones, all that stuff, yeah.
A lot better. But the Manning name is very difficult. But at the same time, he gets access than nobody else. I mean, if you get to talk to Peyton and Eli Manning and talk to, they showed the clip of him throwing, and he did the little flip of the ball in his hands during his drop back, and Eli Manning quote tweets it, and he's all like, I taught him that. If you get to talk with 2 Hall of Fame, is Archie Manning in the Hall of Fame? I don't think he is.
Yeah,
2 Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's in.
If he is, well, then you get 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks that you have right at your disposal. And one is maybe the smartest quarterback to ever play in Peyton Manning, maybe the best quarterback to ever play. I think he is the best in Peyton Manning. It's absolutely a plethora of knowledge that you can go to. The advantage is there for him. Now, he does have to put in the work. It's not like he's somebody that's like, I would assume no matter who your parents are, you're not going to just inherit all their God-given ability. I don't think Bo Jackson has a kid, but if Bo Jackson did have a kid, does he?
Emmitt Smith, yes, he's running back. I think he's like a running back in Texas. Yes, good God, he
does.
Yes,
Bo does. I know Emmitt Smith does.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Emmitt Smith, not Bo Jackson.
Emmitt Smith has a running back at Stanford. Actually, he's a wide receiver. Emmitt Smith, he's a wide receiver. Maybe he's a returner, or maybe he's an H-back. But he does play at Stanford. So yes, Emmitt Smith does have a kid. But like, you don't inherit Barry Sanders' kid. You don't inherit. You have to work for it. Not saying that if it doesn't pan out, you don't have hard work or things like that. Like overall, you got to put in the work. And Arch has shown that he has put in the work, and I think he could be very, very good. Just having the Mannings be there to teach you how to play quarterback is the best well that you could go to. I'm sorry, I think that's a better well than Tom Brady, because it's 2 guys. Actually, it's 3 guys because you got Archie as well. That's a lot of knowledge that you can go to. I got a question. We got a question from Pat the Goat saying, what do you guys think about the second round of the NBA playoffs so far? Joshua, what's that like? I'm just kidding. My team didn't even make the playoffs. I'm absolutely loving it. My favorite players in the NBA are like all in it. I'm a massive, probably 2 of my favorite players in the NBA that aren't on OKC. Trae Young is my favorite. Then it's probably Donovan Mitchell. Then it's probably like Joel Embiid, who are all playing absolutely amazing in the second round. So I'm having a lot of fun. Oh, and then also Kevin Durant. But I'm thinking non-ever OKC players. But yeah, the Nets are scary. But overall, tons of fun. I think a lot of people. I'm being a bit surprised by how bad the Nuggets have played against the Suns. Shout out to Phoenix, but overall, lot of fun. watching the second round. But what are you guys thinking about it? Any surprises? Also, Pat asked, do you like Devin Booker? I used to not. I used to think Devin Booker was incredibly overrated. I think I tweeted out during the Lakers series. I was like, I was wrong about Devin Booker. He is absolutely legit. He's now, honestly, just watching him in these plays, he's becoming one of my favorite players in the league. Like, I used to think he was overrated. I'm not going to lie about that. I wasn't a fan of him. But then I was just watching him, and I was like, man, this dude is legit. I don't watch a ton of Phoenix games, but he's legit. I am now a fan of Devin Booker. But yes, what are you guys thinking about the playoffs so far?
Surprise! The Clippers are surprised Denver's down 0-3.
Yeah.
That's the way missing Jamal Murray. Like I said, Michael Porter Jr. He can't hit the side of the rim right now. So but shout out to Will Barton, Baltimore's own. He had a solid game the other day. But it's going just about as I expected. The Hawks down 2-1. I knew they'd probably win a game. That's about it. I don't got to win the more game. Boston and New Jersey. Not New Jersey. I'm sorry. I gotta get up my hand. Brooklyn. Yeah. Brooklyn. That's going to probably end in about 4, probably 5 or 6. So it's. I got Suns versus Nets in the final. So
okay.
I can actually see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that would be an interesting finals.
Phoenix got the hot hand, and honestly, I've been saying it. If D Booker gets a point guard, that takes a lot of pressure off of him. And with Chris Paul, I'm not about to say, oh, he's young Chris Paul when he played with the New Orleans Hornets, but Chris Paul now he still produced good numbers. He's still a smart guy to have on that court. He reminds you of a Rondo, but he has better productivity in my opinion. So the Lakers got what they deserved. LeBron was hurt. AD he ain't got he don't drink no cod liver oil, so he don't have no strong bones. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So
there's a reason we call him Anthony Day to Davis.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, we see something from J. Rom says the Bucks need a new coach. Yeah, sorry, Budenholzer. He just hasn't been able to do it. Greek Freak needs to go get with Hakeem Olajuwon, maybe the best center of all time. I don't think he is, but some people would say he is. Shaq says he is. But to learn some post moves, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you could maybe Giannis is an interesting player. He's an interesting player. I love Giannis. Giannis is great. The issue is his game is so weird in today's NBA. Like, if he had developed himself more like Kevin Durant, because they have that's the most comparable body type, I would say, to Giannis's KD. But instead, Giannis decided to go with like the slashing type, doesn't have a handle at all. We saw him trying to like get by Blake Griffin and did like the slowest, little just crossover, and then backed up once between the legs and then tried to go full steam ahead and got tied up. Like, it's just whether or not he wants to work inside or outside, because he can either develop the outside shot and become lethal from there.
Mm-hmm.
But if he goes to, if he gets a dream shake, if he goes to whoever Embiid worked with, because I believe Embiid was like, I taught myself how to play just watching highlights. That type of stuff. If Giannis learned how to back down and really take advantage in the post, because really all he can do is drive. And he's amazing at it. But overall, I think he just needs to do one more thing, and then he's great. I think he can still win a championship at the level he's at if he had the right coach and the perfect players around him. But if he developed either a 3-point shot or if he developed a absolute deadly post game, it's over. It's over for the NBA. I don't know if anybody could stop him. I don't think anybody could.
He's literally a 2K created player. Like he's a 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", whatever, small forward, a slash and playmaker with what is it? Maybe 40% dribbling attributes. and no
Yeah.
and maybe one badge of corner specialist. I mean, other than that, he got nothing but Hall of Fame badges for getting to the rim. That's it. Until he creates, more of a complete game of a jump shot, then he'll be that threat. But right now, he's not there yet. And I don't know if he's going to get there. If I'm gonna put this out there, Ben Simmons will get a shot before Giannis will. I'm gonna say it.
Giannis, he's solid, Josh. Or Giannis, he said.
Giannis, my fault. I can see Ben Simmons shooting a 33% three ball over Giannis in a whole season.
Ben Simmons,
I don't know.
Threes. I don't know what it is. He just be having bad nightmares. Like he just don't even attempt them.
Yeah.
But Mike Budenhouse, you know what his nickname was in Atlanta? Booty House. Budenhouse. They said he sucked that bag like booty. So that's what they gave him. But I think a good coach for them would be Mark Jackson, me personally, because he's a good motivational coach.
Yeah.
They get the best out of guys like Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Devin Joe. I hope I said it right. Patrick Connaughton. He would get the best of those guys, just like how he did with Steph and Draymond when they were babies.
I don't know why Mark Jackson gets no credit for the Warriors' success when he was the one that built the entire system that Steve Kerr took over back in whenever Steve took over, 2015 or.
Right. Steve Kerr gave him his credit. He said this first championship was off the back of Mark Jackson. So he said so he gave him his credit on record. So.
Yeah. So we got a question from Captain Gamer saying, what are your thoughts on how Dalen Hayes is doing in practice? Dalen Hayes is doing great in practice. I think a lot of people saw the rookie minicamp video of him doing the extra reps. He had a pick 6 in one of the OTA days. He's been getting after the quarterback. We've been hearing reports about him getting to the backfield. He's been doing solid. He's a guy who wants to get better. He wants to learn, and he wants to be a Raven. So I definitely like what I've heard about Dalen Hayes so far. I don't have a press pass or anything like that. I can't actually go. I'm also not in Baltimore, so I wouldn't be able to go anyway. But overall, Dalen Hayes so far has lived up to the hype. Really haven't heard anything about Brandon Stevens or Sean Wade. Really haven't heard much about them, so I don't know if they're balling. Haven't heard anything about Ben Nason, but Dalen Hayes has had a fair amount of reports about him, so he's been doing good. He's been standing out.
For what I've heard and read, that he's getting better each and every day. He's setting the edge pretty well. He's using his hand. He's strong at the point of attack. He's picking up the playbook very, very relatively quickly from what Drew Wilkins have said. So far, so good. So far, so good. They said him and Adafi they're gonna play a lot. There's no secret. They're gonna get a lot of action this season.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Overall, I feel like if people want to ask more questions, we can do a couple more questions if people ask. Otherwise, we'll wrap up the stream. But I see Don C. Says, I don't remember being this excited about the Ravens. I think Lamar is going to struggle the first few games, then go on a tear. If the O-line is able to gel before the regular season, look out NFL. I mean, that's a typical Ravens season under Lamar. Struggle a bit early, have some controversy. Every talk show saying, is Lamar Jackson a fraud? Every talk show. And then he'll win 8 games in a row, and then they'll be like, he's still a fraud. All that garbage that they say, and it's super annoying. But I wouldn't be surprised at it. The benefit is we do play the Raiders week 1. Chiefs week 2 is a bit tough. But then we play – who do we play week 3? I can't remember who we play week 3. But we play the Lions early. Colts are week 5. not the most difficult schedule to start the year, not the easiest, but
It's gonna be battle time.
overall, we got to finish. We have to finish strong. It's the only way to do it because we have a tough road to end the season. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, LA. If Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers, then Green Bay. It's going to be tough. So we definitely got to finish strong. But I am very excited about the season. I don't know if it's the most excited I've been. I was very excited going into 2020 or 2019, that season. I was so excited. It was like, oh, Lamar's finally going to get to start. That was the season I was most excited for. But absolutely, I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. What do you guys think?
I agree, man. Should be another successful season. Hopefully, we can top it off with that third Lombardi Trophy coming back to Charm City. So, McConnell and Johnson, what you guys think? I think some good things going to happen this season.
Hey man, I've been saying it, not to be biased, not just being a Ravens fan. It just feel like it's a different type of presence. It's a different type of perspective in that locker room going into this year. A lot of guys know that they should have beat Buffalo last year. They should have known. They know they should have been into the AFC Championship game. They know they should have been to that Super Bowl. Say they was going to win it against Tampa Bay. Who knows? We can't predict that. We have to see it play out. But a lot of those guys from the defensive side to the offensive side of the ball, it's more. You got that brother mentality. You got those guys in there that they play for each other. They you can tell it's genuine love and care, and can't do nothing but respect that. And it's like it's almost like a disease. It grows on all Ravens fans because the Ravens fans, they see it, not only on the field, but, in social media and stuff like that. And when you see that type of stuff, it's like, dang, man, we got something special here, So when you see that, it's more than just a contract and money because even the offensive side of the ball, these guys still love Orlando Brown. They're not mad at him. Chase the paper. Do what you feel you deserve. But we still going, play our game, in between the lines. So I definitely feel like, this is I wouldn't even say a road of redemption. This is potential. This is a growth year, another progression year. So I definitely feel like, this could possibly be another year where we make it deeper into the playoffs. Hopefully we make it to the Super Bowl. But we've done it all. We've had that bye week going into the playoffs. Was it 2019, 2020? Yeah. We fought to get into the playoffs, and we beat that AFC rival in Tennessee Titans. So it's now we gotta go. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep on moving forward. We gotta keep on progressing. So I definitely feel like we're gonna progress in a better way, and it's gonna come out on a positive side.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like we got one last question. It's from Living Legend. I think it's a great way to wrap it up. It says, TTB, what is your prediction for a record this season? We can all just go around. Like the video if you guys haven't, or like the stream if you guys haven't already. If you're in the stream and you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. But for me, I'm going to say 13-4. Would be my prediction this year. I haven't gone through the full schedule or anything like that, like game by game, win, loss. But overall, as a general idea, I think 13-4 would be my prediction for the Ravens this year, which would be probably winning the North, but probably wouldn't be the wild card or the bye week in the wild card round. So that's my prediction. Justin, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with 14-3. This will be the second time franchise history that the Ravens won 14 games.
Hey, I'm going 14-3. Week two against Kansas City, that can go 50-50. Week 5 against Indianapolis, that can go 50-50 because we gotta give their respect to the defense being led by one of the best middle linebackers, in Darius Leonard. He comes out to play every game, and that defense, they gave us a run for our money last year, even though we came out on top. And I can see us splitting it with one of the teams in the AFC North, whether it be Cleveland or, whether it be Pittsburgh. So, yes, if T T. Higgins to go is still in the chat. Yes, I'm saying we're going to sweep Cincinnati. It is what it is. I got nothing but love for y'all guys, man. So yeah, I definitely see us being a 14-3 team.
There we go. And then also we got Living Legend saying smash the like button, comment, and subscribe, and join the TTB crew. Absolutely 100%. I think that's going to do it for this video or this live stream. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the stream. Make sure absolutely to go check out hashtag KTE Sports Talk, Justin's show. I put the link in the chat earlier. I'll put it back again. If y'all want to go check that out, make sure to go subscribe over there. So y'all can go do that. But Justin, is there anything else you want to promote? Twitter, anything like that for people to find your stuff at?
I can find me on Twitter, Justin Parnell, hashtag the host of PTSD Sports Talk. Same thing on Instagram. Facebook is my government name, Justin, last name Parnell. Like I said, Spotify, Google, things like you guys, I'm on there as well. Audio podcast, KTSC Sports Talk with Justin P. It'll pop right up, black and a white shirt with the podcast brand on top of it. That's about it, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. This is very fun, man. Look forward to doing it again.
No, it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, make sure to go check out all of Justin's stuff. Make sure to come back to the next live with the viewers. And if any of you ever want to be in the show, make sure to DM me on Twitter. It's the best way to do it. It's just the easiest way. We've had a lot of great guests. Hopefully continue to have great guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't know, we may continue to do it through the season and maybe on Saturdays still do it. Kind of like a pre-game, full predictions, all that type of stuff. Oh, man, I could not get through the wrap-up of the stream without coughing. Almost got there. But thank you, everybody, for watching the stream. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content. And we'll see all of you again for the Live with the Viewers next Saturday. But I'll see all of you again tomorrow.